Minecraft has added copper golems and chests, which is a great addition. Then they went and added copper armor and tools, and now people are really upset about it. I mean, how dare they? Why would they do such a thing? Like, who actually asked for this?
The first reason why copper is very underwhelming is you can't actually do that much of it.
Copper and amethyst, and how freaking useless these things are.
You save some copper in your Minecraft survival world. Do you mine it? No, of course you don't, because it does literally nothing.
What's the most worthless item in Minecraft? Well, a common answer is copper.
Today, let's discuss why I think that copper tools should be added to Minecraft.
Oh. Turns out a lot of people have been asking for this since copper was released, so why are people still saying that the new copper stuff is useless? It's almost like people just wake up every morning and think, what can I complain about today? So today I'm here to set things straight. In this video, I'll show you all the features of the new Minecraft 1.21.9 game drop, some information regarding what people are complaining about, explanations why a lot of these people don't really fully understand what they're talking about, and some constructive criticism and possible fixes and predictions that Mojang could implement in the future. But before we get started, this little graph here tells me that only 3% of the people who watch my vids are also subbed to my channel. So if you've learned something from the video, or just like it in any way, you should definitely hit that like button. It really helps me out in the algorithm, and also make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for some cool new content coming soon. So let's start off with the addition of the copper golem and a copper chest. You can make both of them by taking a copper block and putting a carved pumpkin on top of it. You can also just make the chests by surrounding a chest with copper. But the function of both of them is it will take stuff out of the copper chest and organize it for you in any chest that it sees. It's still quite buggy at the moment. I'm hoping that they will get tweaked a bit and learn to be a little smarter and faster when it comes to doing their job. If this was my job in the real world, you'd be fired in a second. I'm sorry, little buddy. I just wanted you to do a good job so that you could be just like your parents. Wait a minute. Who are your parents? Oh, right. It's me. I'm your parent. I created you, and that means that I can also take you out. Be on your best behavior. Other than that, Mojang has added a lot of other items like copper chains, copper bars, copper lanterns, copper torches, copper horse armor, copper nuggets, copper tools, copper armor, a copper sword, and now the lightning rod can become oxidized like other copper things can. They even allow for the copper golems, once they fully oxidize, to become statues that you can then place around as decorative blocks. They can even change their poses. I know what you're planning. Don't get any wild ideas, buddy boy. You ain't going nowhere. You've been grounded. These guys also look really great in hats. There's so many different variations you could do. You could do flower pots, you could do walls with carpet, and you could just do regular carpet. And then here, you know, it just got some lamppost designs that incorporate their features. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see all the different ways that the copper golem statue can be used by the community for a lot of different build ideas. They've also added shelves as well. It's really interesting, but not really part of why I'm making this video. So maybe in another video I can talk about them. So let's just move on from now. Copper was added in version 1.17, the Caves and Cliffs Part 1, and at the time it was added, it was very common to find. It yielded a lot of resources when you broke it, but mostly all you could do was make copper blocks and a spyglass out of it? Ugh. Really? Guys, for real? We all just use Outperform. Throw that in the trash. But later in version 1.20, the Trails and Tales update, they added the brush, which allowed you to brush sand and gravel to find random items. Copper was used to craft it. And even later in 1.21, the Tricky Trials update, they added more copper-related items like the copper bulb, copper door, copper trapdoor, copper grate, and chiseled copper. But still, the community was just not satisfied. Comment after comment, post after post, video after video, they still were just asking for one thing. Only that one thing would satisfy them, and of course, that would be tying together game elements that should make sense. If we could mine gold and smelt it into an ingot and use that to create armor and tools, and we could mine iron, smelt that into an ingot, and make armor and tools, how come copper, which at the time could also be smelted into ingots, couldn't become armor or tools? How could the Minecraft developers be so mean? How could they forsake their own player base? This was like committing the ultimate sin. How dare the creators of our favorite game ruin the continuity that we so gloriously worshipped? Oh, what's that? They added it in the new update and now the community is crucifying them for it? Wow. Sounds like somebody needs to take a break from the internet and go touch grass. But Nova, they're just giving their constructive criticism on how the new features. Oh, no, they're not. They're just whining and bellyaching, complaining. Look at the way they titled their videos. Copper is useless. Copper tools are useless. Copper is still useless. This isn't about helping the developers by giving them constructive criticism. This is about going viral with negative videos, complaining for the sake of, complaining. That's just sad. But aren't you doing the same thing that they are by making this video? So let's get started with the debunking of a lot of the arguments I'm seeing across the internet about how copper tools and armor is useless. Just because you have an opinion on the internet doesn't mean you're shielded from all criticism. And just because I'm pointing out all the times that these arguments are wrong doesn't mean I think that the copper tools and armor is perfect. I'm just pointing out how weak and baseless most of these people's claims are. Also, before you get down into the comment section with your 2 cents, I urge you to at least listen to the whole story I got. Then, of course, you can leave your comment about how wrong I am and how stupid I am for making a video like this. And just for a frame of reference, just so I could get a taste of all the hubbub about these copper tools and armor, I opened up a world in this version and tried to get copper stuff as fast as I could to see how it matched up. So I'll be including a few anecdotes from my own gameplay experiences. In fact, the footage that you've been seeing has been me playing the game while trying to use copper as much as I can. So let's make the first debunking here a 2-for-1 special, mainly because I think both of these complaints I'm hearing can be debunked in the same way. Plus, I'm lazy. Either people be talking about how bad the durability of copper stuff is, as in it's not as good as iron, and also not good enough to warrant using it instead of stone, but also that even though copper is found more frequently than iron, they can find stone so much more frequently, and therefore copper's use is invalidated. I'm not gonna lie, I initially thought this stuff too when I saw that they were added, but instead of making a whole video with a brain rot take, I opted to instead just to take a second and think about these 2 arguments and just use some dang logic. First things first, I think that we can all attest to the fact that when we're down in the mines, we want a pickaxe that will last long and mine fast. That's why people search for diamonds in the overworld and ancient debris in the nether and get enchanted books to enchant their stuff, because we want to upgrade our shit. If I was mining stone and I had the option between a stone pickaxe, which can mine 131 blocks before breaking at 0.6 seconds per block break, and a copper pickaxe, which can mine 190 blocks before breaking at a speed of 0.45 seconds per block break, I don't care how many stone pickaxes I can craft. In my playthrough, I was able to get a stack of copper ingots really quickly because it's so common. And every time you break a copper block ore, you get about 2 to 5 raw copper. And if you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's just a 0.15 second difference, is it really enough for you to make the effort to use copper instead of stone? Well, an iron pickaxe breaks stone in 0.4 seconds, so the speed of copper and iron are extremely close, which made for a much smoother and more fun time mining. Not to mention the amount of blocks more that a copper pickaxe can get than a stone one is almost a full stack. That, in my opinion, is enough to warrant using a copper pickaxe, which also won't break as often, therefore making me have to pull out my crafting table less often to craft a new one. It's just super annoying how often stone tools break. The only thing that I do agree with most other people on this is that copper really should be able to break the same blocks as iron can. It's a metal, but then again, if they address that, then they also have to address that a golden pickaxe can't even break blocks that iron can either, which is really strange that a golden pickaxe can't break gold ore. I don't know if this is well known by most players, but I had no idea that this was a thing until I accidentally did it in the previous SMP. I broke a gold block, and nothing came out. Even to this day, I'm still super salty about that. But what about the sword, shovel, and axe? Are they any better? Well, just like the pickaxe, the shovel and axe will take longer to break and get almost an entire stack more while using it. But then for the sword, we might need to think about it differently. Both stone and copper do the same damage, but the durability is different. Previously mentioned, stone is 131 and copper is 190. So you might be thinking, that's it? That sucks! Well, let's put this to the test. Sure, both do the same damage, but let's say you're fighting a creeper, a skeleton, or a zombie, all of which have 20 health points, or 10 hearts. So do their variants, the stray, bogged, wither, skeleton, husk, drowned, and zombie villager. So if you want to defeat one with a sword, both stone and copper do about 5 points of damage, or 2.5 hearts. So with a stone sword, you can fully kill 6 of them, but with a copper sword, you can kill 9, almost 10. But that really puts it into perspective just how much better defended you are with a copper sword than you are with a stone one. When you put it into raw numbers of how many mobs you can kill, it shows that copper is significantly more powerful. Moving on to the armor. To be honest, when I was playing with the copper armor, it definitely took a beating, but a lot of people seem to try and compare it with gold and leather, as if to say the protection is not as good as gold, and they would be true. Technically, gold offers a tiny bit more protection. Basically, the copper helmet, leggings, and boots are the exact same, but the gold chestplate provides a half more of an armor icon. So yes, it wins by the skin of its teeth, but it easily loses in the durability contest. It's like 2/3 of the durability that copper has, and leather armor is worse. Other than the boots, which for some reason copper and leather boots are the same protection level, every other piece of copper armor is significantly better than leather, and the durability of copper is more than double that of leather. So not only is the copper armor the obvious winner when it comes to it versus leather, but oddly enough, it also beats out gold armor as well. So people really need to stop saying that it's not as good as gold. it's much better. I've also mentioned this before, but for realism and game continuity purposes, it also makes sense. Allowing copper ingots to be able to be crafted into armor and tools just like iron and gold is just common sense and really deserved to be added. Plus, in our own history, there were weapons, tools, and armor created from copper as well. It was an actual thing like way back in the day. So why not make it a feature of the game? Not to mention, another common argument I hear is that, oh my god, it's so easy to find iron, just like go here and go there and do this. Stop, okay? I feel like you're not gonna like what I have to say, but most of us just know where to go get iron because we've played Minecraft for a while and we're experienced enough to jump down into a cave or head to a mountain. We know where to look and we know how to do it with skill and precision. Even those of us who have those embarrassing moments while playing, but if this is going to be a core feature, then people who might not be as skillful at Minecraft, or maybe never played Minecraft, or maybe just became old enough to be interested in playing Minecraft, for them, this provides an alternate way to get tools and armor, which is a good thing, right? I definitely don't hate the idea of more people playing this game and liking it. Do you? In the first 5 minutes of me playing my world, I found 23 pieces of raw copper. That's like one away from a full set of copper armor. How are you gonna tell me that finding iron is faster than that? Anyone who says that is either straight up a liar or they're a world record speedrunner. And in the next 10 minutes after that, I found over a stack. You might get lucky and find iron ore first, but it's only gonna give you 1 raw iron per iron ore block. I did find my first iron ore at around the same level. It took me about 45 minutes, so yes, iron can spawn at the same levels, but like I said before, you're just not going to get as much from it as copper. Plus, this also allows for any iron that has already been found not to be wasted on tools and armor that early on. Well, maybe a pickaxe would be nice, but now I have iron to make a shield and buckets and hoppers. There are lots of farms that I and other people use that require the use of hoppers, like a composter, chicken farm, sugarcane farm. Even for using it in larger farms would also be really nice. I know that whenever I'm playing, I use a lot of hoppers, and then I run out of iron, so I have to go mining, which usually becomes too tedious after a while, and I just break down and create an iron farm. Gosh, I love iron farms. One thing that does worry me a bit, and maybe I'm a little off my rocker on this theory, but it's also possible that since they've introduced copper ore being able to be crafted into these things, that it's possible that iron ore spawns might become nerfed. I mean, since copper is so abundant, that close to the surface for a lot of people to see, maybe it will become more often used, and so this will lead to them thinking, well, maybe we can make iron a bit more rare, which of course the community will be up in arms about, which means I'll get to make another video, so fingers crossed. So to finish my experience in the world I was playing, I really did not see any reason to upgrade to iron while I was playing. I did find diamonds at some point, but I think it was like 2. Either way, I'm sure I could have easily traded up to iron at some point, but to be honest, it felt kind of nice not having to stress about getting so much iron. It felt nice to just chill with my copper armor. Not too overpowered, but at least I wouldn't be getting two-shotted by a skeleton if I was naked. The amount of items that you can craft with iron kind of made me think that the beginning of the game of Minecraft is super stressful when it comes to that. The fact that copper can be used for armor and tools, but also a lot of the rest of the things you can craft with it are mainly decorative, makes me actually glad that we at least have an alternate option. It gives us choice, and that's definitely one of the most important parts of Minecraft. Copper armor and tools are definitely better than iron, not in durability or protection values, but in its availability and the fact that it can at least take the burden off of what used to be something that really only served as a stressor to us. And I don't know about you, but in Minecraft, I'd rather just have fun and chillax. I think if you take one look at the real world lately, stress is not something I want to encounter when I'm just trying to place some blocks. Also, remember bundles? Remember how much people hated these things? And now everyone's using them? They are so helpful. And I don't know what update this was in, but in my playthrough, I found bundles in village chests, and I was ecstatic. I love that idea. Anyways, what do you guys think about my video? Do you agree? Disagree? Pop a comment below, let me know what's up. But, with all that being said, this is the end of the episode. If you like what you watch, click that like button. And if you want to see more, definitely subscribe. See you guys in the next video.